If you want people to respect you, understand this first. Respect starts long before you open your mouth. It starts with your presence. The way you walk into a room, the way you take your seat, the way you breathe. Every gesture communicates something about how you see yourself. Most people don't realize that others are forming an opinion in the first 5 seconds. They're reading your posture, your energy, your eye contact. Before you even speak, they already know whether to listen or dismiss you. Presence is energy. It's the invisible signal you send that says, I'm grounded, I'm certain, I belong here. You can't fake it, and you can't borrow it. You earn it by mastering yourself. When you're nervous, when your shoulders cave in, when your voice shakes, that energy tells the room you don't believe in your own value. And if you don't believe in your value, no one else will. People don't respect uncertainty. They respect certainty. Commanding respect starts with commanding your body. Stand still when you talk. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. Make eye contact, not to intimidate, but to connect. Breathe deeply and evenly. The person who controls their breathing controls their energy. Every shallow breath tells your body you're unsafe. Every deep breath tells your body, I'm in charge. You have to train yourself to hold stillness under pressure. When you do, people lean in because calmness is power. Respect also begins with how you manage your attention. Most people scatter their focus. They're halfway in a conversation, halfway on their phone, halfway in their own thoughts. The top performers are completely present. When they speak to you, you feel like the only person in the room. That presence alone demands respect because attention is currency. When you give it fully, people recognize your discipline. Start noticing how you enter every space. Are you rushing, apologizing, filling silence with nervous talk? Or are you walking in with quiet confidence, grounded energy, and deliberate pace? You don't need to dominate the room, you need to stabilize it. People respect the person who makes the environment feel calm and structured. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to eliminate unnecessary movement. Stop fidgeting. Stop over-gesturing. Stillness equals strength. Watch any world-class leader. They move with intention. Every gesture reinforces their message. Nothing is wasted. Here's the truth. People mirror what they see. When you project self-respect, they mirror it back. When you project insecurity, they test you. And they'll keep testing you until you decide to lead with composure. Commanding respect before you speak is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. Your inner world and outer behavior must match. If you know your worth, act like it. If you have something meaningful to say, let your body language support it. Respect begins when your energy communicates certainty. From this moment forward, every time you enter a room, imagine you're already the leader in it. Not because of title or position, but because of posture, presence, and energy. Walk in tall, breathe slow, observe before speaking. People will sense authority without you forcing it. Respect is silent. It doesn't need permission. It shows up in the details, the way you shake hands, the steadiness of your gaze, the discipline in your tone. When your presence is consistent, you never have to demand respect. It's given naturally, because people don't respect what's loud. They respect what's certain. Respect doesn't come from being the smartest or the loudest person in the room. It comes from being the clearest. Clarity is power, and people instinctively trust those who communicate with precision. Most people drown in noise. Too many words, too many explanations, too many justifications. The more you talk without direction, the faster you lose authority. The top 1% never confuse people. They make complex ideas simple, and that simplicity earns respect instantly. When you open your mouth, your goal is not to impress. It's to impact. Every sentence should move the conversation forward. Eliminate filler words. Eliminate the long backstory. Eliminate the nervous oversharing. Speak to the point. The more concise you are, the more people assume you know what you're doing. Long, uncertain sentences reveal hesitation. Short, clear statements reveal confidence. Clarity begins in your thinking. You can't speak clearly if you think chaotically. Before any meeting, before any negotiation, before any important talk, Ask yourself one question. What's the outcome I want from this conversation? Most people walk in hoping it goes well. Professionals walk in knowing exactly what they want and how to guide others toward it. When you're clear on your intention, your words have direction. People respect direction. They may not always agree with you, but they'll trust that you know where you're going. That trust is the foundation of respect. Clarity also shows up in your tone. Speak with even pace, confident tone, and complete sentences. Avoid trailing off or rushing. When you pause between thoughts, you give your message weight. Silence is a leadership tool. It signals confidence. Never be afraid to let your words breathe. Another part of clarity is consistency. If your actions contradict your words, you destroy respect. People watch what you do far more than what you say. When your behavior and your communication align, others relax around you. They stop guessing who you are. Consistency builds credibility, and credibility is the backbone of respect. Avoid over-explaining. When you justify every decision, you hand away authority. Clear leaders don't argue for their value. They demonstrate it. Say what needs to be said and stop there. The more you speak, the more you dilute your message. Here's a mindset shift. Clarity isn't about perfection. It's about ownership. When you don't know something, say it honestly. I don't have that answer yet, but I'll find out. That sentence earns more respect than pretending. People value integrity over image. To sharpen clarity, practice this daily. Take one idea you believe in and explain it in one sentence. If you can't, you don't understand it deeply enough. The top 1% obsess over simplifying complexity. They know that when people understand them quickly, influence multiplies. In every room, clarity separates amateurs from professionals. It's why some voices cut through noise while others fade into the background. When you're clear, you sound certain. When you're certain, you're respected. Clarity is your superpower because it builds trust faster than charisma ever will. Charisma might attract attention for a moment, but clarity sustains authority for a lifetime. Speak less, say more, and let your message land. When your words are clean and your intention is strong, people stop questioning your credibility. They start following your lead. If you want real respect, you have to draw the line. People respect what you protect. Every time you let someone cross your boundary, you teach them how little you value yourself. Boundaries aren't selfish. They are the structure that keeps your confidence intact. The most respected leaders don't ask permission to have boundaries. They enforce them with calm consistency. Most people confuse kindness with compliance. They think being liked is the same as being respected. It's not. When you over-explain, overcommit, or say yes out of guilt, you lower your own authority. Respect fades when people sense that you can be persuaded too easily. The top performers understand this. The moment you stop defending your standards, you start losing control of your time, your energy, and your identity. Boundaries are not about control. They are about clarity. You're telling the world, this is how I operate. This is how I expect to be treated. You don't have to announce it. You demonstrate it through behavior. When someone interrupts you repeatedly, you pause, look them in the eye, and continue speaking calmly. When a client pushes for more than agreed, you refer back to the agreement with professionalism. That's boundary in action. No anger, no drama, just composure and conviction. Here's the truth. People test boundaries because they're trying to understand your limits. If you don't define them, they will. And when they do, it will always be on terms that favor them, not you. The top 1% earn respect because they are predictable in their standards. They don't collapse under pressure. They don't apologize for holding people accountable. They understand that fairness and firmness can coexist. Start by auditing your life for boundary leaks. Where do you say yes when you mean no? Where do you tolerate lateness, disrespect, or lack of follow-through? Every leak drains your self-respect. Plug one leak at a time. Communicate expectations clearly. If you lead a team, make your standards visible. Respect flows in environments where everyone knows the rules and trusts they'll be upheld. The key to setting boundaries is emotional control. You don't set boundaries with frustration. You set them with certainty. When you're calm, people listen. When you're reactive, they resist. The moment you explain your standard from a grounded state, you shift the dynamic. You stop being the pleaser and start being the leader. And remember this, boundaries don't push good people away. They attract them. The wrong people leave when you raise your standards, but the right ones rise to meet them. Respect follows consistency. If you make exceptions every time someone complains, your words lose weight. Keep your standards even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. You'll notice a shift when you start doing this. Your communication becomes cleaner. Your relationships become more balanced. You'll feel lighter because you're no longer managing other people's comfort at the expense of your own integrity. People will begin to approach you differently, not with demands, but with consideration. That's the silent reward of boundaries. So stop apologizing for wanting respect. Stop over-explaining your no. Say it once, clearly, and move on. The most powerful people I've ever met don't raise their voice or justify their standards. They live them. Boundaries tell the world that you value your time, your focus, and your purpose. When you demonstrate that consistently, respect becomes automatic. Self-respect is the foundation of all external respect. You can't expect others to believe in your word if you don't believe in it yourself. Every promise you break to yourself, every workout skipped, every goal delayed, every commitment avoided, chips away at your internal credibility. Confidence isn't built by external praise, it's built by internal proof. The top 1% don't rely on motivation, they rely on integrity. When they decide something, it's done. Not because it's easy, but because they trust themselves to follow through. That's what separates leaders from talkers. Talkers declare intentions. Leaders deliver outcomes. Think about this. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and you don't, you create a micro fracture in your self-trust. You might not notice it at first, but over time, those fractures accumulate. Eventually, you stop believing your own words. That's when insecurity grows, because deep down you know you're not keeping your own standards. To rebuild that self-respect, start small. Make one daily promise to yourself that you will not break, no matter what. It could be waking up at a specific time, finishing a task before checking your phone, or spending 10 minutes planning your day. The size of the promise doesn't matter. The consistency does. The goal is to retrain your brain to associate your word with action. When you keep promises to yourself, something powerful happens. Your voice changes. You speak with certainty, not hope. You make eye contact longer. You stop over-justifying decisions. That shift is visible to everyone around you. People can feel when someone is grounded in self-trust. They may not be able to describe it, but they sense it, and that's what earns respect. The reason most people struggle with discipline isn't laziness, it's lack of alignment. They set goals that don't mean enough to them. You won't follow through on promises that aren't connected to purpose. So before you commit to anything, ask yourself, does this matter to the future I'm building? If it does, treat it like a contract. If it doesn't, don't say yes out of guilt or pressure. Every unnecessary commitment you make dilutes your focus and weakens your credibility. Following through also means doing what's right, not what's easy. Respect isn't built in the moments of excitement. It's built in the moments of resistance. When you push through discomfort, you send a signal to yourself that your word is final. That's where true confidence comes from, not from external validation, but from internal reliability. People will start respecting you more when they realize you respect your own standards. You won't have to prove yourself. Your consistency will do it for you. When others see that your yes means yes, And your no means no. They stop testing your limits. They start trusting your leadership. So today, make a decision. From this point forward, your word to yourself is non-negotiable. If you say you'll do it, it gets done. No debate, no delay, no excuses. Because how you treat your own commitments sets the tone for how everyone else will treat you. Respect isn't a performance. It's a reflection of integrity. When you honor your promises to yourself, you send a clear message to your team, your family, your peers, and most importantly, to your own mind, that you are a person who follows through. And that's the kind of person everyone respects. If you want people to respect you, stop speaking to be liked. Start speaking to be understood. Most people waste their words trying to earn approval, when what truly earns respect is purpose. You can't lead when you're addicted to validation. The moment your decisions are driven by fear of disapproval, you lose authority, not because others take it from you, but because you hand it over. Respect is not about being agreeable. It's about being intentional. The most respected people in the world are not the ones who please everyone. They're the ones who stand for something, clearly, consistently, unapologetically. You can disagree with them, but you can't ignore them. That's the kind of power that comes from conviction. When you speak, speak from purpose. Before you say a single word, ask yourself, what's the outcome I want from this conversation? Purpose brings precision. It filters out unnecessary talk, it eliminates filler language, and it gives your message weight. Every sentence should serve a reason. If it doesn't, don't say it. People can feel when your words come from a place of strength versus insecurity. Insecurity sounds like over-explaining, apologizing for your ideas, or softening your language to make others comfortable. Strength sounds like clarity, calmness, and certainty. When your tone says, "This is what I believe and this is why," people stop interrupting. They start listening. You don't have to dominate conversations to command respect. You just have to be intentional. The most powerful communicators don't raise their voices. They raise their standards. They speak less but mean more. Every time they open their mouth, people know it matters. If you catch yourself speaking for approval, pause. Notice the impulse to say what others want to hear and instead ask, what needs to be said? Approval is temporary, but alignment is lasting. When you speak from alignment, you attract respect even from people who disagree with you because they recognize authenticity. Another key to speaking with purpose is to remove emotional dependency from other people's reactions. Respect doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent under pressure. When someone challenges you, stay calm. When someone disagrees, listen without defensiveness. The moment you react emotionally, you lose control of your message. The top 1% have trained themselves to stay composed even when misunderstood. They know their worth doesn't fluctuate based on feedback. That composure communicates strength. People don't follow emotional instability. They follow stability. Here's something to remember. You can't be both respected and universally liked. Respect often comes at the cost of temporary discomfort, especially when you're leading change, setting standards, or saying no when everyone else is saying yes. But in the long run, the same people who resist your firmness will trust you more for it. Purposeful communication also means eliminating the need to fill silence. When you finish your point, stop talking. Let your words land. Silence gives your message gravity. Weak communicators rush to fill space. Strong communicators understand that silence is power. Speaking with purpose builds trust. When people know that every word you say has meaning, they listen more closely. They don't question your direction because they know it comes from clarity. You don't have to chase their respect. You attract it naturally. So speak less to please and more to lead. Don't measure your success by applause. Measure it by impact. When you align your words with purpose and truth, approval becomes irrelevant and respect becomes inevitable. Pressure is the ultimate test of leadership. Anyone can appear confident when things are easy. True respect is earned when you stay calm in chaos. The ability to hold composure when everything around you is shifting is what separates the average from the exceptional. Most people react. The top 1% respond. Reaction is emotional. It's fast, defensive, and usually careless. Response is intentional. It's measured, strategic, and grounded. People instantly respect the person who remains centered when others lose control, because composure signals power. Think about it. When a crisis hits, everyone looks for direction. The loudest voice rarely leads. The calmest one does. Calm communicates confidence. It tells people, "I've got this handled," even before you say a word. That feeling of stability earns instant respect because humans are wired to follow certainty. To master calm, you have to train your nervous system, not just your mindset. When you feel triggered, when someone challenges you, criticizes you, or the situation spirals, your body reacts before your brain does. Your heart rate spikes, your breath shortens, and your thoughts race. The first rule of composure is awareness. Notice the physical response. Don't try to suppress it, regulate it. Take one deep breath. That single breath buys you space between reaction and response. The person who can hold that space controls the room. While others panic, you process. While others argue, you observe. While others rush to speak, you choose your words with intention. That discipline is rare, and it's what earns silent authority. Calm doesn't mean passive. It means controlled power. You're not ignoring the problem. You're managing it with precision. You're making decisions from logic, not emotion. When you operate from that place, you become magnetic. People trust your leadership, not because you're perfect, but because you're stable. The challenge is that most people tie their composure to external circumstances. They're calm when things go their way and reactive when they don't. That's fragile confidence. Real composure comes from internal stability, knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it. When that belief becomes your baseline, your presence changes. Here's a practical exercise. Before reacting to any problem, pause for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, breathe deeply, straighten your posture, and remind yourself, I choose how I respond. That small discipline separates emotional leaders from effective ones. People respect those who can stay objective under pressure. It shows maturity, it shows self-control, and it builds trust. Because others know they can depend on you when things get difficult. The one who loses composure loses influence, even if they're right. The one who stays calm gains influence, even if they're challenged. You'll notice this especially in leadership or business. When tension rises, everyone mirrors the most stable person in the room. If you panic, your team panics. If you remain calm, they recalibrate. Your energy becomes the thermostat that regulates everyone else. That's the invisible influence of composure. Over time, calm becomes your competitive advantage. While others burn energy reacting, you conserve yours for decision-making. While they're emotional, you're strategic. That's how the top 1% consistently win under pressure. They use calm as a weapon. So the next time you feel your emotions rising, remember, the louder the chaos, the quieter your power needs to be. People respect the one who stays anchored when everything else is shaking. Calm is not weakness. It's leadership in its highest form. Respect isn't something you demand in one dramatic moment. It's something you accumulate in quiet, consistent actions that most people overlook. Everyone wants instant recognition. But the truth is, the world respects patterns, not promises. Your daily habits send a louder message than any speech ever will. The most respected people I've worked with don't have to talk about discipline. They live it. They show up on time. They deliver when they say they will. They listen when others speak. They follow through without reminders. Those behaviors seem small, but they build a track record that makes their presence credible. When you do what you said you would every time, you create a reputation that speaks before you do. People don't respect titles. They respect consistency. You can hold a powerful position, but if your actions are sloppy or your follow-through unreliable, your authority fades. On the other hand, you can be at the start of your career and earn massive respect simply because you operate with precision. The habit of excellence is visible in everything you touch, how you communicate, how you organize, how you manage your own time. Respect lives in the details. Start noticing the small signals you send daily. Are you punctual, or do you arrive close enough? Do you meet deadlines or make excuses? Do you prepare for meetings or show up hoping inspiration strikes? Every one of those choices is a vote for how people perceive you. The top 1% never separate the little things from the big things. They understand that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Here's something powerful. Respect grows in silence. It's built when nobody's watching. The email you send late at night, the research you do before a presentation, the notes you take after a meeting. Those invisible acts build the muscle of credibility. By the time others see the result, your consistency has already earned their confidence. If you want to elevate the respect you receive, raise the standard for how you perform your daily routines. Start with your personal environment. A messy workspace creates messy thinking. A disorganized calendar tells others you're reactive, not reliable. Clean structure communicates control. When people see that you run your world with order, they instinctively trust that you can help run theirs. Another invisible habit of respect is follow-up. Professionals who follow up consistently are rare, and rarity earns value. After every interaction, every meeting, every opportunity, close the loop, send the recap, confirm the next step, express appreciation. It's not about politeness. It's about accountability. When people see that they don't have to chase you, they automatically respect your leadership. And remember, discipline isn't about being rigid. It's about being reliable. Life will test your structure. Things will go wrong. Respect isn't lost when you fail. It's lost when you blame. Own every mistake quickly, fix it, and move forward. Accountability is magnetic. People trust leaders who take responsibility more than those who perform perfection. So, ask yourself, what invisible habits are broadcasting my standards today? Do my actions reflect excellence even when no one's watching? If not, this is your moment to reset. Replace inconsistency with intentionality. Respect doesn't come from big statements. It comes from small disciplines repeated daily. Because in the end, the people who consistently show up, keep promises, and deliver results without needing attention become the ones everyone turns to when it matters. That's the invisible habit of respect. It's quiet, but it's undeniable. Respect isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice. Every moment of your life is communicating something about you. The question is, are you communicating confidence, clarity, and control, or confusion, inconsistency, and compromise? We've talked about presence, clarity, boundaries, self-trust, purpose, composure, and habits. All of these form the architecture of respect. None of them happen overnight. They're developed through repetition, reflection, and relentless self-awareness. Here's the truth. People don't decide to respect you. They discover that you've earned it. It's not a request. It's a realization. They notice that you speak with direction, that you follow through, that you stay calm when others crumble, that you live your standards instead of preaching them. Those observations create trust, and trust becomes respect. You cannot control what people think of you, but you can absolutely control what you project. You can control your tone, your posture, your preparation, your consistency. You can control your reactions, your word, your energy. Respect isn't luck. It's discipline, displayed publicly and privately. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I respect? You probably admire someone who's firm but fair, confident but humble, composed under pressure and consistent in their word. Now reverse the question. Would I respect me if I met me? If the answer is anything less than yes, that's not a reason for shame. It's an invitation to grow. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're building respect. Every time you keep your promise when it would be easier to quit, you're building respect. Every time you communicate with clarity instead of emotion, you're building respect. Those moments compound. One day, people will look at you and call you disciplined or grounded or a natural leader, but there's nothing natural about it. It's all built through habits. Stop trying to convince people to value you. Start showing them that you value yourself. When you do, respect stops being a chase and becomes a consequence. Because the truth is, you teach people how to treat you every single day. You teach them through your boundaries, your standards, and your self-control. The next time you walk into a room, don't focus on being liked. Focus on being aligned with your values, your goals, and your purpose. Let that alignment do the talking. People might not agree with everything you say, but they will feel your conviction, and conviction commands respect. The final piece is to remember that respect isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and earned through consistency. The longer you stay true to your principles, the more undeniable your presence becomes. So from today forward, hold yourself to a higher standard, not because you need validation, but because excellence is who you are. Carry yourself with intention, speak with clarity, protect your boundaries, keep your promises, stay calm under pressure, and never forget that your habits are your reputation in motion. Respect is not given, it's reflected. The world mirrors back the level of respect you have for yourself. When you operate with that awareness, you don't have to demand attention. Your results, your composure, and your consistency speak louder than any words ever could. That's how you earn respect, instantly and permanently. Do voice cloning using the given voice sample and convert the given text to speech. Use 11 Labs V3 for voice cloning and text to speech.